Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's commission meeting. We just need one more commissioner to appear, and we'll have a quorum. So just be patient. We'll be with you in just a minute. Thank you for your patience. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we really appreciate your patience. Madam Clerk, it is 2:08. We now have a quorum, and I call this meeting to order.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, we will have Reverend David B. Hunter, Senior Pastor of the Lutheran Church of the Resurrection, to give our invocation, after which we would like to ask our HR department if they would please lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Please stand.
Thank you. In this holiest of weeks, St. Paul writes in the 13th chapter of Romans, "Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God. And those authorities that exist have been instituted by God." Let us pray. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, bless the public servants in the government of our community, that they may do their work in a spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice. Help them use their authority to serve faithfully and to encourage and promote our common life. We pray, too, that your life-giving spirit may move every heart, that the barriers dividing us may disappear, and with our divisions healed, we might live together in justice and peace through your Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Pastor, for bringing us back in remembrance of what God's word says about government, the fact that he ordained it and he's in charge of it. Thank you so very much. By these presents be it known that Reverend David B. Hunter, Senior Pastor of the Lutheran Church of the Resurrection, is our chaplain of the day. May your spiritual guidance and leadership serve as an example to all of us. Given under my hand this 15th day of April, 2025, Garnett L. Johnson, Mayor. Thank you so very much.
Reverend Hunter, again, thank you for the reminder, and thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you, and you're most welcome.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, let's continue.
Okay. Call your attention to the recognitions portion of our agenda. Item number A, the Augusta Commission would like to offer its congratulations to Mr. Thomas Arthur, Tax Assessor's Office, March 2025 Employee of the Month. As he makes his way forward, Mr. Mayor, let's share some of his accolades. Thomas Arthur has been serving the property owners of Augusta, Richmond County for 9 years as a member of the Tax Assessor's Office, where he currently serves as the residential appraisal supervisor. We are proud to recognize Thomas as the Employee of the Month and for his outstanding contributions to our office recent achievements. Thomas has been instrumental in the successful implementation and ongoing maintenance of our market modeling software, a critical tool that ensures accurate and compliant residential property valuations in line with the Department of Standards. His dedication is evident in the extensive time he has spent analyzing sales data and supporting our annual sales ratio studies. Beyond technical expertise, Thomas has gone above and beyond to assist both colleagues and property owners by clearly explaining valuation procedures and developing a comprehensive handout to address common questions and concerns. Thomas also created innovative tools that have streamlined the valuation appeals process, greatly enhancing operational efficiencies for both the supervisor and appraisers. His commitment to developing greater uniformity of our value across residential neighborhoods, coupled with his constant drive to optimize workflows, exemplifies the kind of initiative and excellence we deeply value. Thank you, Thomas, for your continued dedication and impact. You are truly making a difference. Thank you so very much. Not yet, Miss. We do.
Thank you very much.
Again, congratulations, Thomas. Next, we would like to recognize our 2025 years of service, 25 to 50-year recipients. Ms. Anita Rookert, our HR director, will make those presentations.
Good afternoon, Mayor Johnson, Commissioner, Madam Administrator, and distinguished guests. As the HR director, it gives me great pleasure in recognizing our March Years of Service recipients. For the month of March, we have 16 employees celebrating 5 to 50 years of service. This afternoon, we'd like to recognize 25 to 50 years of service recipients. For the month of March, the total years of service and institutional knowledge being celebrated today is 220 years. Yes, that's awesome. So when I call your name, please come forward. Matthew Orr, Sheriff's Office, 25 years. Christopher Steele, the Fire Department, 30 years. Keith McGarity with the Sheriff's Office, 45 years. Congratulations again to our years of service recipients.
We will be nothing without our people. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause, please. Thank you so much. Madam Clerk, let's continue. I think that takes us to the delegation portion of this meeting. Yes, ma'am. You want to address that? Yes. All right.
Okay. We have a request from the Sheriff's Department on our addendum agenda.
Madam Clerk, can you read it in for the record, please?
Yes, sir. A formal request to bring 828 Broad Street, 30901 Tiffany Eatery and Lounge before the Augusta Commission to have their alcohol and restaurant license considered for suspension, requested by the Richmond County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there any objection to adding this item to today's agenda? Madam Clerk, hearing and seeing no objection, it's added.
Yes, sir.
He's on the you're on the delegation, sir, so you have the opportunity to speak. Thank you so much. No, not yet. We're going to go through the delegation, then we'll be prepared for you. Yeah.
Our first delegation, item B, Ms. Yolanda Brooks, regarding safe at home law and construction eviction.
Ms. Brooks, are you here? Come on up, madam. Either side. You pick a side. There you go. There you go. If you don't mind, for the record, please state your name and address.
Sure. My name is Yolanda Brooks. My address is 1002 Green Street, Augusta, Georgia, 30901.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks. You have 5 minutes.
Okay, so I want to address the safe at home law, and it is called constructive eviction, which those two are being implemented and aggressively being done to us residents at the Maxwell House. We, the undersigned tenants of Maxwell House, are writing and also addressing the concerns in regards to being in an unsafe condition. I've come to the board last year addressing the same exact issues in which it has gotten worse. Also, I've also contacted the management office downstairs, in which they are, seems purposely not addressing our issues with maintenance orders, in which that is considered constructive eviction, meaning if we don't fix anything, you're eventually gonna move. And that's what they want. That's what they've been implementing for years. It seems like that building, every time someone comes as a tenant or have some type of concern with that building, nothing gets done. So I don't know what TPI has with Augusta, but it seems when we even address TPI, which is the company who manages it out of Riviera Beach, Florida, they ignore us. The owner also makes it his business to let us know if I walk into that building, it would be my last day on the job. So that tells everyone who lives in that building, why would we even have these two laws implemented that you guys passed here in Augusta, but we can't implement them? Because they're not holding the responsibility of how they're treating us. It's been years, I would imagine. People who live here in Augusta, most of the people that live here is living in Columbia County. So no one wants to live downtown because the first thing they're announcing is, oh, it's always all over the place down there. There's so much crime, there's so much this and that. That is not true. You have to live here. You have to have your feet on the streets in order to see the everyday life of downtown, which I love the community that I'm in, but I can't enjoy my unit. I mean, I'm hearing rats in the walls, the sewage is backed up. I mean, how is this building able to accept federally funded money? And I have not seen code enforcement go through there since I've been there for the year and some change I've been there. So I'm here for the people of Maxwell House who is afraid to say anything, because when they do announce their issues, they either get evicted or they get blackballed. So I'm here because I don't really care what's going to happen. I need to address it.
Certainly appreciate you being here. I'm going to give the floor to Commissioner Johnson in just a second, but I just want to say that I look at your building every day, and sometimes in the wintertime, it concerns me that there's so many windows that are out, even on the coldest days. And I think there are residents that live in that building, so I share your concern. Have you tried reaching out to anybody at the federal level, your Congressman Allen, or anybody?
I've tried twice. All you get is a representative contacting you and telling you you got to contact the owners, which is in Riviera Beach, Florida. So it seems they implemented those two things, safe at home law and constructive evictions. They got to get rid of us somehow. How about not do anything? You'll figure it out. That's pretty much where we're at.
This is certainly not the first complaint that I've heard. Well, I'm going to yield the floor to Commissioner Jordan Johnson from the first. I'm going to ask Director Delaney to come up if she's here, or a representative from her. Yes, she is. All right, Commissioner Johnson, I'm going to turn the floor over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. That was what I was going to ask for Director Delaney to come to the podium and have a couple questions about this. Director Delaney, how are you doing today?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm well, thank you. I know a few years ago we dealt with similar issues at two of the apartment complexes in the downtown area, but they were federally, I think they had some type of relationship with HUD, or they were federal properties. The Maxwell House, to my understanding, is not a HUD property. Is it a federally ran or operated or funded facility?
They do not have a federal exemption under HUD.
Okay.
They have tenants who have vouchers to live there, but they are not exempt.
And is that what makes it different from the other two that we
Yes,
had
sir.
to deal with? Okay. Concerning the conditions at the Maxwell House, I echo the sentiments of the mayor. I've gotten numerous of calls about this, and it's really concerning. What code enforcement violations, or I guess what information do we have concerning the upkeep and the maintenance of that facility? Do we have anything on file?
I don't have it right now because I didn't realize that this topic was going to be specific to the Maxwell House. But what I can tell you is about 2.5 years ago, we had several violations, and I personally went with code enforcement, and we walked down every floor. We went into every room, and they came into compliance within about 2 weeks. So what I think happens is with the turnover in the tenants, you see further deterioration of the units and things of that nature. They had several units that were actually offline. We viewed those rooms too. So there were some things, they had people actively working at that time. But again, that was 2.5 years ago. So there could be a good bit of turnover. And with the knowledge that I've gained today, what we can do is we can go ahead and schedule, we'll go in person and we'll take a team and we'll walk it down again. We probably can do this before, well, it's Good Friday, but we can at least start.
Okay.
But and then of course we can, my assistant can get this young lady's information and we'll make direct contact. We'll also reach out to them and we can report back in writing via Ms. Bonner, to including your packet, and we'll give it to the administrator's office also, please.
Okay. I think that's a good place to land this, is to have an initial walkthrough and a meeting with the management. And just for the record, I want to sort of go back a little bit, because I think this is germane. If it's not, just stop me. I know we spoke about a year or so ago about developing some type of slumlord policies up here. How do we effectively deal with slumlords in the community? And I know that's a very strong way to come out right now about this facility, but I know that we have this facility and a few others, and quite frankly, some privately owned single-family homes that fall up under that category as well. And so while we have these conversations, I think it might be helpful for us to go ahead and start thinking about how to address the conditions of some apartment complexes or single-family homes that might fall up under that category. And it really speaks to some of the sentiments that we had a few weeks ago about upkeep at apartments and stuff like that too. So just want to submit that for the record.
Right, and that would be the chronic nuisance that would cover single family, and it would cover multifamily.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm going to turn it over to Wayne Guilfoyle, but before I do, I have a question for our attorney, Attorney Plunkett. Can this body, by any chance, engage the owner by sending a letter letting them know that we have been made aware of numerous complaints regarding the condition of their building, and that we would hope that he would take action to correct some of the deficiencies?
Mayor, I think it'd be more appropriate to wait till after planning goes through the building and figure out what's going on there. And that citation, we would more than happy to send a letter at the same time with her findings. But I'm not discounting anything that the speaker is saying, but I think it would be better for Augusta to verify in advance of sending such a letter.
Thank you. Thank you, Attorney Plunkett. Chair recognizes Commissioner Mayor Pro Tempore Wayne Guilfoyle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Brooks?
Yes.
We actually have fortunately, a 311 department here. It would be good to ask the residents to utilize that. With that department, they'll give you a number, case number, and with that case number, they won't close it out automatically until the problem gets resolved. There is a disconnect between the engineering department and the 311 because the programs that we use, that has to be done verbally. But I will say this, that with the code enforcement, they have been addressing things. So 311 is the best tool in our box for you to use and utilize. And Ms. Delaney, if Ms. Brooks was here last year, I know it was 2.5 years ago that you got them back on track, but she was here last year before us for the same issue. Did you go last year as well?
I'll pull it and see.
That would be a no. I would know, because
Well,
I'm there on a regular basis.
that means
No, not a discussion between the two, please, Ms. Brooks.
Yes.
I didn't personally go.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean my staff didn't go. But I have records,
Okay.
and I can access those records momentarily. My staff is pulling it now, so.
Okay.
Yep.
But Ms. Brooks, use that 311 tool and get a case number, and once it gets resolved, 311 will let you know as well.
Okay.
And the code enforcement did get some new people on the top shelf, and they are going after it aggressively. I've seen them in action. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tempore. Ms. Brooks, this body today has instructed our code enforcement to do a tour of your facility. We will ensure that that gets done, and I hope that you're there when
I pray I'm there too.
you got it. All right. Thank you so much for being here today, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, let's continue.
That takes us to item number C, Ms. Florence Henley and Mr. Alpha Lewis regarding police presence at Tiffany's Eatery at 828 Broad Street.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Henley?
Hi, everybody doing
Good day, sir. If you will, for the record, please state your name and address.
Alpha
Oh,
Lewis,
Mr. Lewis, I'm sorry.
828 Broad Street, but my address is 2916 Courtney Road, Augusta, Georgia.
Thank you, sir. You have the floor, and you have 5 minutes.
So I'm here today because we've been on 828 for 5 years, and we just started selling food after 2:30, like the end of February. And since we've been selling food after 2:30, a lot of minorities come there after hours. And I'm not here to sugarcoat that. When they come from other clubs. They be drunk already, and we hired police detail. That don't stop them from, like, doing what they do outside. We had a few hiccups when we first started doing it, like the police, they come in there, tell us, all the liquor gotta be locked up. Everything that they tell us to do, we done did so far. So, but every week, they only come there Friday and Saturday when everybody is out there walking around where problems are being caused. But we're open Sunday through Thursday, but they only come in there Friday and Saturday, and they tell us every week, we're gonna take your license, we're gonna take you in front of the commission to take your business license, take your liquor license, and it's just getting to the point where I'm like, why does y'all keep coming, like, telling us that we done been here 5 years? You can't fake 5 years that long for 2 months. And if we gotta stop serving food after hours, we will. It doesn't matter to us. But don't just keep coming there, threatening us, telling us you're gonna take our license. They come in there and this is what they tell us. So everything they done told us to do, we do it. So we hire police detail. When they coming in there, they don't respect the police when they outside. They steady fighting because they already drunk coming from other places. And when they searching for sharp objects, the security searching for knives, guns. So they might have cigarettes, reefer in their pocket. When they get in there, they go in the bathroom. But we got securities in there stopping all that. If they see them smoking, they kick them out. We're not over capacity in there. We after 60 people come in, which I think is we can have but after 60 people, we let 5 people in, 5 people out. But they don't want that down there, period, because it's just causing problems for the officers down there. So they just don't want that down there, period. And we're not trying to get into no match with the police. We feed the homeless. When the officers come in there Sunday through Thursday, we feed them for free. Firefighters, we've been there 5 years. This problem only started happening from the end of February till last week, I think. So it was a fight out there last week. It was 4 doors down from our restaurant because it's the Masters Week. Everybody, Friday and Saturday is the day that everybody is out there walking and doing whatever they do, So it was a fight out there this Saturday. The police had to break it up. But it's not at Tiffany's. I got the fight in my phone. I can show it to y'all. It's 4 doors down. But just because everybody walked the script, it's like our restaurant is to blame for everything that goes on down there now because we're the only ones open.
1 minute, Mr. Lewis. 1 minute. Yeah, 1 minute.
Okay. We're the only ones open after that time. So when they get drunk and come from other clubs, that's where they coming at to buy food. We hire police detail. We hire 7, 8 securities. It doesn't do no good because I'm not trying to sugarcoat. When they group up, minority people group up, problems happen. I don't want to say the wrong word, but that's what happened. But if we have to stop the after hour, we spent hundreds of thousands in this business, and we've been there 5 years. You can't fake 5 years for so long for just 2 months of things that has been occurring. And whatever they tell us, they give us a warning about in there. We try to make sure the next week they come back. That doesn't happen. But it's not so much we can do when we trying to do everything we can to obey what they tell us to do. So that's why I got on the agenda today to just, let y'all know how y'all can help us, because we hire police detail. And they still come and do whatever they want to do down there. But if we got to stop, we will stop.
Yes, sir.
Serving food after hours.
All right, that's a good stopping point. That's a question I have for our planning director. Director Delaney, help educate this governing body on how a club ceases at 2 a.m. and then starts serving food and not alcohol, so we're clear on that.
Mr. Mayor, point of order if I could.
Yes, sir.
I know that we discussed very briefly about this item. I know that the sheriff's office also has this as an addendum. Could we somehow companion those versus talking about it now and then having the sheriff's office come back and talk about it again?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's finish the delegation portion because I can see this taking time, and we have some folks here. So let's let the 2 other delegation members come. And Director Delaney, I'll ask you to come back then just to answer that question for us. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you,
All right, sir. There's your item. Have a seat. We're going to have you back up in just a minute, okay? All right.
No problem.
We're going to have the sheriff to present the opposing opinion regarding this. All right, Madam Clerk, let's go to the next delegation portion, please.
That will be Delegation D. Ms. Carl Viola Brooks, update on work being done at the child enrichment to respond to and prevent child abuse in Richmond County.
Good day, Carrie. How are you?
Good afternoon. Good. How are you?
Good. If you will, for the record, please state your name and address.
Carrie Viola Brook, 2707 Downing Street, Augusta, Georgia, 30909.
Madam, you have the floor.
Well, first I wanted to thank you guys for allowing me to speak this afternoon. I'm the Director of Child Enrichment, and we're a nonprofit that serves Richmond County and 8 other counties in the surrounding area, and we've been doing that for 40 years. As you may know, April is Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month. It's a time for communities to come together to stand up for children, raise awareness about abuse and neglect, and commit to building a safer, more nurturing community for kids to grow up in. You've likely seen blue pinwheels planted around this month. You also have pinwheel pens that we gave you guys. These pinwheels are more than just a decoration. They represent the hope that we hope children have. They represent a symbol for a happy, healthy lives we want all children to be able to have, especially the children living here in Richmond County. We know that each pinwheel represents us and our collective responsibility to protect the most vulnerable children in our community. We know that our community is only as strong as the children who will grow up to be our leaders. At Child Enrichment, we work every day to make this vision a reality. We have 3 programs: the CASA program, Court-Appointed Special Advocates, we have the Child Advocacy Center, and we have a new program of prevention. Our CASA program, we recruit, train, and supervise community volunteers to advocate for kids in foster care. We could not do that without the support of the community, and we have one of our CASA volunteers back there, Maddie Sue. She's been a volunteer with us since January of 2019. Volunteers like Maddie, they go and they advocate for kids in foster care. They're the eyes and the ears for the court system. We know that if a kid has a CASA volunteer, they're going to spend half as long as they normally would in the foster care system, and they're less likely to go back into care, ultimately saving our community money. Our Child Advocacy Center is where kids come when there's allegations of abuse. So when there's an interview that needs to be done of a suspect for child abuse, those kids come to our facility. We interview hundreds of children each year, and we've seen a huge increase in those numbers. Just looking at the statistics of Richmond County alone, last year we served 504 children, and this most recent year we served 617. So we've seen a growing increase in that. And we work with kids when there's allegations of physical abuse, and sexual exploitation, so child trafficking. We have historically had a large number of child trafficking cases in our community, and a couple years ago, we had the most confirmed cases of child trafficking in the state of Georgia. We had been advocating for a very long time that there were some changes to how those cases were handled, and most recently, the Attorney General's office has added a new department for human trafficking that will be in Richmond County. There will be 2 dedicated investigators and 1 prosecutor to help combat that really large issue that we have. But each of those kids that I talked about and each of those numbers, they represent a child's story. They represent not only their story of things they've endured, but also the possibility of hope. And that's what we get to do at Child Enrichment. We get to provide that hope to help them heal from what they've encountered. But we cannot do that alone, and we require the support of community members and community leaders like you. So I encourage you to continue staying a partner with Child Enrichment, educate people on the important work our team is doing. We have more kids in foster care right now than we have advocates available. If you know somebody that wants a place to give their time, encourage them to come and become a CASA volunteer with us. But I just wanted to take some time to explain to you the large number of child abuse cases we see here, but tell you that there's places like the dedicated staff at Child Enrichment working hard to combat that, and we're honored to represent those heroes in the community doing that. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks. Appreciate you being here. I don't see any colleagues in the queue, so we really appreciate all the great work that you do throughout the community, and thank you so much for this valuable information. All right, Madam Clerk, let's move on to the next item.
Our next delegation, Mr. Moses Todd from I Love Augusta, to discuss addendum items, consent agenda, Open Meetings Act 48, our business public notice. Addendum items trigger citizens' right to public discussion before a vote and supermajority of the commission.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Todd, former Commissioner Todd, if you will, for the record, please state your name and address.
Moses Todd, 2747 Deansbridge Road, Augusta, Georgia. Mr. Mayor, we know that there's times when you're going to have emergencies or have last-minute issues that you need to do an addendum to the agenda. So we're not here opposing all addendums to the agenda. We feel that it should be at a minimum as far as addendums go, that if you have a pattern of bringing things at the last minute to circumvent the public, then you are in violation of the Open Meetings Act as far as, all of Augusta is concerned. A good example of an addendum, I guess the Sheriff Department had one on today that was triggered by an incident over Masters Weekend. And, so that would be a justified, issue to do an addendum. But to do an addendum to the agenda, then put the addendum item on the consent on the consent agenda, it kind of keep the public in the dark on what's going on, what our government is doing. And I think that it's a disservice to the overall operation if we allow department directors or others to circumvent the public by using addendums, then putting the addendum item on a consent agenda with no discussion. And I think that when that happened, that this commission should adopt a resolution like a lot of governments have throughout the country, where if you don't have a 48-hour business hour notification, or at least the requirement as far as the state of Georgia go with announcing a meeting, then any individual from the public should have the right to come up and address the issue, to raise questions as far as citizens' redress, as far as the issue go, and that should happen before a vote on the issue. So I'm not going to take up a lot of your time today. I understand that we had three or four delegations, but I will yield for any questions. It only takes and this is not something that need to go to the review, the charter review. This is something that can be done through resolution by this government with a supermajority.
Thank you, Mr. Todd. Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tempore Wayne Guilfoyle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Todd, appreciate you coming before us and letting us know how the Open Meetings Act works. On April 1st, we had an addendum put on our agenda. It was actually 3 addendum items. One was from the UGA Richmond County 4-H agent doing the presentation about the youth programming that was requested by Commissioner Lewis. It's hard to tell somebody no that comes in from out of town, and actually it's supported by the body unanimously to add this on. The second thing was to approve something for the aviation as far as Aerotech valet conveyor system at a tune of $135,740. But probably the most important of the 3 items that we seen and approved for it to be on the addendum to be approved for us to look at was the funding for your seniors nutritional program. That was our administrator had forethought and fortitude to go ahead and make sure that our seniors in these recreation centers would continue to have food. So at times where you might not see no different than what we have with the Sheriff's Department today, we look at every item that comes before us, and it's important to us to either let it, sometimes addendum items don't just go on, but these did. And when you was here last time, these 3 agenda items was on the table. So we do look at every one that gets added on. And if one of us opposes to it, then it does not go on at all. So we are conscious of what hits this agenda. We try not to hide anything from the public citizens whatsoever. So I just wanted you to be aware of that as well. Thank you, Mr. Todd. Thank you for coming before us.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tempore. Mr. Todd, seeing no other colleagues in the queue, is there anything else you'd like to additionally address with this body?
Yes, there is.
You have 1 minute.
Like I stated, not against all addendum items. There is addendum items that occasionally come up that deals with spending, well, let's say change orders or spending tens of thousands, if not tens of millions of dollars. And when those occasions happen, I think that this government should change, amend the rules to allow citizens to speak on it, just like they have the right to speak on the budget and budget hearings, et cetera, if there haven't been a proper notice for that citizen to get on the agenda as a delegation to speak. So those are my comments. It's in your hands. 8 of you can make a change, or we can continue to operate outside the sunshine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Todd. Madam Clerk, I think that concludes our delegation portion of this meeting. We're gonna put, that's been done as an addendum item. So I think that takes us now to the consent portion of our agenda. Sheriff's Department, we're gonna move you guys up, so just give us a second to go through the consent portion, okay?
Call your attention to the consent portion of our agenda. For the benefit of any objectors to our planning petition request, once the petition is read, would you please signify your objections by raising your hand? Call your attention to item number 1. It's a request to approve a petition requesting to amend the light industrial zoning conditions from zone case Z2332 to allow automobile body and fender repair, location at 1810 and 1812 Gordon Highway. Are there any objectors?
Any objections to this matter? Seeing or hearing none, let's continue.
Item number 2 is a petition requesting a rezoning from a Zone R manufactured home residential to a Zone B2 general business to develop an event venue for a property located at 4149 and 4159 Woodward Avenue. Are there any objectors?
Any objections to this matter? Hearing or seeing none, let's continue.
Item number 2 is a request to approve a rezoning from a Zone R1A, one-family residential, to a Zone Light Industry, affecting property located at 3035 Old McDuffie Road. Are there any objectors?
Any objectors? Seeing or hearing none, let's continue.
Item number 4 is a request for rezoning from a Zone R1A, one-family residential, to a Zone Zone B1, neighborhood business, to develop a community event center, affecting property located at 3301 Milledgeville Road. Are there any objectors?
Any objections to this matter? Hearing or seeing none, let's continue.
Item number 5 is a request for a rezoning from a Zone R1A, one-family residential, to a Zone R1E, one-family residential, to develop town home community on property located at 1514 Goshen Circle. Are there any objectors?
Any objectors? We have a whole bunch of them, Madam Clerk.
To deny?
To deny it.
To deny. Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
So we don't have any objections to deny it.
No.
We don't have any objectors, Madam Clerk.
We have supporters, right?
Any supporters?
We have supporters.
You got a supporters to deny it.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
All right. All right. Our consent agenda consists of items 1 through
You didn't read 6.
6.
Did you read 6? You did
Oh,
not.
okay. Item number 6 is a request for a special exception to establish a personal care home on property located at 3622 Sternaday Drive. Are there any objectors?
Any objection to this matter? Hearing and seeing none.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, our consent agenda consists of items 1 through 7 with no objectors to our planning petitions, only supporters.
All right, let's go through it. Commissioner Jordan Johnson from the first. You're up first, sir.
Thank you, sir. I don't have an objection to 6, but I do have a question regarding the special exemptions that they're requesting.
All right, do you want to get up here now to ask your question? Director? You want to pull it or you just?
I'll just pull it. I'll pull it.
Yeah, all right,
I'll
never
pull
mind.
it.
He's pulled.
We'll pull-
We're gonna pull number 6, madam.
We'll pull 6 and I'll have questions on item 20. We'll pull 20.
6 and item 20, it's already, okay?
Well, that's on the regular agenda.
It's on the regular agenda, okay. All right,
Okay. Our
right.
consent agenda, sir,
all right,
1 through 7.
1 through 7. With the exception of number 6. All right, Mayor Pro Tempore Guilfoyle, you're up, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Under engineering, like to shoot 21 back to committee since Commissioner Mason's not here to discuss it, but approve agenda item 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. Under administrative portion, if we could approve agenda item number 17, 18, 19. And we got our public safety and our public service chairs here, so thank you.
All right, any objection to any of those? Hearing and seeing none. Commissioner Rice, the floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Under Public Services, I would like to consent items number 9, 11, 12, 13, and 14, if my colleagues do not object.
Number 9, number
11,
11,
12,
12.
13, and 14.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Commissioner Johnson, you have the floor, sir.
Yes, sir. I want to consent 15 and 16.
That's number
15 and
15.
16.
Number 16.
I have a question on number 16, please.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tempore, question 16, so remove that one. All right. Commissioner Francine Scott.
Yes, sir. Mayor Johnston, under public safety, I would like to consent 28, 29, 30.
29 and 30, ma'am?
28, 29, 30.
28, okay.
Okay. All right. All right, there's a motion to approve. by
Second.
Commissioner Mayor Pro Tempore Guilfoyle, second by Commissioner Rice. Madam Clerk, we're voting. Let's get them on the screen. Do we need to get them up on the screen first before we vote? Okay, there we go, colleagues. We're voting.
That motion carries with Ms. Pulliam out, Mr. Mason, Mr. Clark, and Mr. Garrett.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Goshen, you guys are good to go. Now, if you'd like to sit and see your government at work, you're more than welcome, but we'll give you an opportunity to exit, okay? Thank you all so much for being here. Okay. Madam Clerk, we're going to start with the addendum item, as we had a sheriff's department here. We're going to address that first.
Okay. Request from the Sheriff's Department to bring 828 Broad Street, Tiffany's Eatery and Lounge, to have their alcohol and restaurant license considered for suspension.
All right.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon, sir.
Myself and Sergeant Ortiz. He has some paperwork, Dan, to present as well.
Yeah, you get them back up, Jeff. Just let us, when we do the presentation, then we'll have them up. Just wait just a second. Oh, sir, just have a seat. Have a seat right up front. You, anywhere right there. When we get started, we'll ask you to come back up. Thank you.
It's gonna be the Axon body camera. The other one, if they want to see it.
I'm gonna drive both
If
of
they
them.
want to see it, yeah.
Okay, I'll copy them to the desktop. Both of them. Let me know, and then I'll turn the screen off. That's great.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm here today on behalf of the Richmond County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Brantley to formally request the business located at 828 Broad Street, Tiffany's Eatery and Lounge, no longer be classified as a restaurant, and that serious consideration be given to revoking their alcohol license. Despite currently being on a 6-month probationary period for failure to meet the requirements of a restaurant license, this business continues to operate in direct violation of multiple county ordinances. Deputies and investigators have documented repeated violations since February 15th, including alcohol being served after legal hours, ongoing indoor smoking, and the use of hookahs despite repeated warnings, unlicensed use of a DJ and creation of a dance floor without a dance hall license, charging a cover charge at the door, claiming this is supporting food sales, loud music and crowd control issues leading to fights, including one recent incident where this weekend a sheriff's captain was injured, requiring surgery, and a deputy was also injured on March 15th. Numerous disturbances, illegal activity, and safety concerns at closing time requiring repeated law enforcement intervention and overtime usage. At this time, I'm going to show you one video which will basically show our primary concern for why this is not a restaurant. Just double click. So I placed my body camera on. This is after we've already. There you go. Thanks. Walking into Tiffany's, which is supposed to be a restaurant. All the other places on downtown are closed. It's now 2:20 p.m. and this is the crowd standing outside. People trying to get into the place after everything else is closed. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Sorry. Oh, my bad. No, you're good. Thank you.
Baby, that was hit, it's on the flash on. I'm like, when Dixon, I get bags on. Baby got a pretty face, waist, ass on. I'll get my own set, bitch, never had me. I ain't taking shit, bitch, I said what I said. I'm down bad, and if you want me, say girl, keep it low for real.
You good? This is what they call a restaurant. As you'll see, there's no tables, nobody eating. Place is smoking. Smoking cigarettes. No food out anywhere. They have, however, put up their alcohol so they're not serving from the bar at this time. Dancing on the dance floor. And clearly not a restaurant. So, that video was taken March 30th at 2:20 a.m. As you can see, it does not appear to us to be a restaurant in any way, shape, or form at that time of night. The owner had corrected a lot of violations prior to this. So they had stopped serving alcohol when they weren't supposed to serve alcohol after hours. However, as you can see, there's about 100 people waiting to get outside, after everything else is closed downtown. And on the inside, it is set up clearly as a nightclub, not as a restaurant. There were 2 people that had food, but that's not what we would consider a restaurant. The owner has showed blatant disregard for our ordinances. This conduct has transformed the business from a restaurant into what officially is an unlicensed nightclub. We've spoken with license and inspection. We've documented incidents. We have several body camera incidents that we could show, including fights outside and right outside the club because of the people that are hanging out there. If we showed those videos, there's extreme language that you might not wish to watch. Some of you might have already seen some of them on Facebook. In light of these facts and the ongoing public safety risks, and it basically sounds like he's already offered, we wish the commission to either revoke the license as a restaurant so that they close when all other businesses do, or revoke the alcohol license. Only because it was brought up, we also wish to state that we deal with probably 60% minority business clubs downtown, and we aren't having any problems with any other minority business club downtown. So it's not because it's minorities. It's just people who have consumed a lot of alcohol, and it's time for them to go home. And this is the only place to stay and open. Investigator Ortiz also has and can answer direct questions. He can go over all of the tickets that he's written, the numerous times that they've spoken, and he's also provided you that information up front. And I'll also be glad to answer any questions.
Mr. Ortiz, did you have anything you need to add further?
Yes, just the dates that I went over there and talked to him.
All right.
I originally was informed of this location in January that they were having issues with there about large crowds forming outside. I spoke with them, I believe it was February 9th, with the actual registered owner, Ms. Florence Henley. Ms. Tiffany Sims was there as well, along with Mr. Alpha Lewis, who is now currently the agent of the facility. I told them that I was getting complaints of them serving alcohol after hours. Ms. Henley told me that they weren't doing that they were closing at normal hours, at which point Mr. Lewis said, no, we're not, we're staying open past hours. So the actual owner of the place is believing that they're doing one thing, but the agent who is actually running the facility is not. Ms. Florence actually, or Ms. Henley and Ms. Tiffany Sims both live in Florida, what it is, and not here. The only person actually here with that restaurant is Mr. Lewis. So that was on February 9th. On February 15th, at approximately 300 hours, deputies entered the location 828 Broad Street in Augusta, Richmond County, which is Tiffany's Eatery. At that point, they observed the bartender is still serving alcohol at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's supposed to stop serving at 2:30. They were made to shut down that evening, made everybody go out. While they were in there, the deputy saw them smoking and could get a strong odor of marijuana in the facility. On March 9th, later that week, or the following weekend, which would have been the 22nd, 27th, I believe it was, or the 21st. I talked to them again and cited them for them serving alcohol and told them they cannot have cigarettes, cigars, or even the hookahs, which were provided by the location at the facility. So not only did I cite them for the alcohol, I informed them that all the smoking that they were doing on property was not allowed. It's against county ordinance. On March 9th, I went back to the property around 3:10 in the morning. When I walked inside, there was a large amount of smoke. Walked to the facility, they're smoking all over the place, made contact with Mr. Lewis again. I told him, hey, last weekend I told you guys you can't smoke in here. He says, I'll make them stop. This was at 3:10 in the morning. Waited outside because there was a large crowd in addition to the loud music that could be heard outside. Waited 20 minutes, so at 3:30 I went back inside, walked all the way to the back, and Mr. Lewis was walking right next to a person who was smoking. I addressed it. He said, well, where are they smoking? I didn't see him. I told him, I was like, they're right beside you. They were smoking right beside you. He was like, well, I can't make them stop smoking. They can do what they're doing whatever they want. I was like, no, they're not. Business, shut down for the evening. Made everybody get out that evening. On the 15th, March 15th, deputy responded to the area again because of the large crowd, large music, and a disturbance. That's the day that they had a deputy there. There was a fight inside, which one subject was seen coming out of the restaurant I use loosely. Bloody nose, bloody mouth. He didn't want to do anything about it. He kind of disappeared. Fights continued. They ended up closing the restaurant. Everybody got pushed outside. The fights continued outside. A deputy got hurt that night. People kept, we had a solid issue that started in their club. March 16th, at approximately 200 hours, they entered the business and observed that all the chairs had been moved against the wall, the tables had been moved, basically making it one big club. And they're saying it's a restaurant. In addition to the DJ. On March 23rd, at 3 o'clock in the morning, I stood outside Tiffany's Eatery, observed a large crowd. Again, it's a large crowd. People out there smoking. We don't want fights to happen. At that point, I observed the doorman charging cover to get in the restaurant. Restaurants can't charge cover unless you're a hybrid. A hybrid can charge cover. I believe it's 9 to 10 o'clock at night. They become a bar. They can charge cover. A restaurant cannot. At that point, I told him he couldn't do that. And he said, well, Mr. Ortiz said I could, or Investigator Ortiz said I could. I told him, no, he didn't. He said, yeah, I did. He said I could charge cover because of the 50% rule, which is you have to make 50%, more than 50% of your income has to come from food to be a restaurant. Well, I shaved that morning because I had a funeral to go to, and I told him, I was like, no, he didn't. I'm Ortiz. His response was, oh, you're Ortiz. Well, nobody said I couldn't. And I advised him, I was like, yeah, you know this, you can't, because when they actually fill out the application to be a restaurant or a bar, they have to sign. There's a part of the initial saying that they are aware of all the rules. Not only that, I contacted the license inspections on the 25th of March, and they told me not only were they told they couldn't do that, Mr. Lewis came in there specifically and asked about charging cover, and he was told the only way you can charge cover is if you become a hybrid. Well, if you become a hybrid, you also have to put more money in the restaurant because of sprinkler systems and all that, which they ended up not doing. So this went back on the 30th. The 30th, Chief Blanchard walked in there, and again, there was all the tables removed, advised no smoking, or was advised no smoking. That's the video that you guys saw here. On April 5th, I went in there. I was contacted by Investigator Calvin Swan, who told me that they were smoking inside the restaurant. Well, on the 5th, I went in there and I didn't go in there. Another investigator called me. I was somewhere else, and they said, hey, they're smoking inside the restaurant. I left where I was, went to the restaurant, and sure enough, there's the doorman smoking right in front of the door, which you're supposed to be so many feet away from the door. You walk inside, there's somebody smoking a cigarette right inside. Walk to the back, there's another person smoking a cigarette in the back. And then on that day, I actually cited him for the cigarette smoking. And his thing, when I pulled him outside to talk to him to give him a citation for allowing smoking to happen inside the restaurant, he said, well, why are you giving me a ticket? I was like, well, you're in charge. He's like, no, I'm not. It's like, you're part owner. No, I'm not. It's like, you're the agent on the thing. He was like, no, I was taken off. So now he's distancing himself from the business altogether. Ended up writing him the citation that day. And then on April 13th, again, the fights that happened, they closed the business themselves because of the fight that happened inside. Fight carried outside, and that's the video that's on Facebook right now where you see all these people fighting. And our office is trying to break them apart. Just to let you know, the day before, when I saw one of the days that listed, I saw the tables pushed to the side. I told him, I was like, you can't do this. This is a restaurant. You can't move tables. Also, a restaurant does not have DJs. So he made the DJ leave that day. He told me I wasn't aware of this. Nobody told me about this. And that's when I went to the the license inspection office, and they're the ones that told me that they not only told him he couldn't do it, he was also provided with a book with all the ordinances of what he can and cannot do. So the fact that he's saying, one, that I told him that he could charge cover, well, that was just a blatant lie. In addition to him saying that he was never told any of these rules, he was given a book as well as told he cannot charge at the door. So at this point, we believe that anything he's going to do regardless of what he knows is right or wrong. He's just doing this for monetary gain regardless of what the law is, and it's just for his benefit and, disregarding the public.
Thank you, Sergeant Ortiz, and that's a good segue. I'm gonna get to you colleagues for Director Delaney, just to educate the governing body regarding the rules with restaurants and food and times and all of those things.
All righty.
All right.
So a couple of things. We'll start with, we have the screen up, but the applicant signed an acknowledgement number 17 that was in your packets from the November 12th meeting stating that they were familiar with the Georgia and Augusta Richmond County laws regarding the sale of alcohol beverages, and they initialed it. So they are familiar with it, and they did receive a copy, and we brought that to say that they said that they were aware of it. In addition to that, the holder of this license, the hours are based on, I wrote them down on the back of here. So Monday through Friday, they have to vacate by 3 a.m. Saturday, they have to vacate by 1:55 a.m., which is, we're just rounding up to 2 o'clock. And then they could serve alcohol, I'm sorry, and then they vacate by 2:30 a.m. And then on Sundays, 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. For restaurants. One of the challenges that they're speaking of, they let us know on March 28th. Ortiz notified us, and we reached out to legal to put them on the upcoming committee agenda, which is going to be April 29th, I believe. So that was the next closest committee cycle that we could get them on. But we have been reviewing it, and he has made us aware. We've already consulted legal, and they agree that we should put this on the committee cycle for review. So I can field any other questions you might have. I will say that the definition of a restaurant and the spirit of the ordinance for the restaurant is based in the brunch. What we saw in the video where they they removed all of the tables and things of that nature, it does not by definition on page 4 of our alcohol ordinance meet the restaurant definition.
Well, help me understand the Sunday sales, because you say they're able to operate on Sunday. I know we are always challenged with bars wanting to operate on Sunday, and they have to have a certain portion of their income to come from food sales.
Correct. So on November 12th, 2024, they came before the commission, the Public Services Committee, and they were seeking to have Sunday sales added to their license permissions. The Planning and Development staff recommended denial of the application. However, the commission did approve it and put them on a 6-month probation.
Okay, so they are currently on probation.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Sir, you're welcome to come back up. I'm quite sure there's going to be some questions for you. Last question for you, Director Delaney. Do they have a commercial kitchen in this establishment? Is there a commercial kitchen?
In order to have that restaurant license, yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Chair's going to recognize Mayor Pro Tempore Wayne Guilfoyle first.
Mr. Delaney, help me get a better understanding of this. I was the one that was, when you came in November, actually pushing so you could succeed. But what I'm seeing here is not succeeding.
Basically, a lot of things that he just said is not even true. He got the body cam. Every time he came and I asked him, "Do you have your body cam on the show?" Why would I let somebody smoke right there in front of me, right in front of me?
Mr. Lewis?
Like, that don't even make
Mr. Lewis,
sense.
I wouldn't want to call somebody saying, mischaracterize them for calling them not telling the truth.
No, what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is, sir, everything that he came in there, some of these things that he's saying, he's correct. I'm not sitting up here, but certain things is not correct. Like, for instance, all we did was move the tables from the front into the back.
I didn't see any tables in that video.
If you looking at it, you'll see the tables there. They're on each side. The tables are there. And he told me, he said, "Mr. Lewis, move the tables back in the front. I did that. So when they came back the next week, the tables was wrapped back how they supposed to be. So again, with the smoking stuff, we checking for sharp objects, guns, knives.
And the person that's checking is a deputy himself?
No, it's not a deputy, but we hire police detail. But they're not finding knives and guns in there. So if a person got a cigarette or a joint, they can just put that in their pocket. They searching for that. They're not searching for that. They can't feel that. So the chief came in there probably like 2 weeks ago. He like, Mr. Lewis, put some smoking signs in there on the front door, on the back, all around. So I did that. They came in there next week. The chief came back in there. He saw, he like, hey, you're doing the right thing. You know, this is trial and error. We just started doing the late sales. We've been there 5 years, never had a complaint, nothing.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes, sir.
You just started, you stated earlier that you've been in business 5 years.
Yeah.
And now, all of a sudden, you're doing the late sales, and it has been nothing but problems.
Yes,
problems
sir.
when our deputies get injured, or their lives at stake, or your restaurant customers' lives at stake. Does that comprehend, like, we need to stop?
Mayor Pro Tempore Guilfoyle, don't answer that. I'm going to have our legal counsel to interject.
Listen, you're 100%. Oh.
Mr. Mayor, this is, with this coming up on the 29th about the revocation, we're really kind of getting into an evidentiary discussion of should the license be revoked or not. Unless the gentleman is waiving on behalf of the organization notice and hearing, we really should be having this conversation
On the 29th.
on the 29th, not today. And I think the other issue, I think, is that I heard him say that, you know, part of the issue is whether or not he wants to continue as a restaurant or just as a bar. And so that's an issue that could be resolved potentially if he wanted to waive the restaurant issue. But if we're going to talk about whether or not he's in fact a restaurant or not, and if he waives notice, we can continue on. If he doesn't want to waive the notice, we need to wait to the 29th to have this thing heard properly.
Thank you, Attorney Plunkett. Sir, would you like to waive your notice to operate as a restaurant? Are you able to make that decision today? Otherwise, we're going to have to continue this on the 29th.
What I'd rather do is stay as a restaurant and just stop the after, because that's where all the problems started at. We had no problems and we only start doing the after hour to try to get our sales up to the 50%. So when we come back in April, that y'all don't take the Sunday sales away, that's the only reason why we did that. But it's if officers are getting hurt, it's because everybody coming from the other clubs. But we rather just do away with it, with the serving food after hours, and just stop it.
Based on your answer, I think we're going to have to continue this on the 29th.
Okay.
Okay?
No problem.
Thank you for being here today.
Maybe we make a request, and I'm not sure if you can even do it.
Yes, sir.
And maybe he'll do it on his own. I know we have to come back on the 29th and present, but it would be a big help if on Friday and Saturday nights he would close at the normal business hours for bars for the next 2 weeks.
All right. Attorney Plunkett, can we do that? Can we make that? Can we entertain a motion to do that?
Well, I think the question is actually, directed to the operator. Are you willing to close at normal business hours?
Yes, sir. What time do y'all want us to close? So we will lock the doors, and when y'all come, the doors are locked.
On any day except for Saturday and Sunday, you have to stop serving alcohol by 2:30 and be out by 3. On Saturday and Sunday, you have to stop serving alcohol by 2 a.m. and be out by 2:30.
So would 2:30, just forget about the 3 o'clock. 2:30, we'll just lock the door. So who's ever in there, all they do is come out. No more people come back in.
That acceptable?
We appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, 2:30.
No problem.
All right, and we'll see you on the 29th.
No problem.
All right. Commissioner Johnson, do you need to add anything? Commissioner Rice, I saw you in the queue. Would you like to add anything further before we close this out?
No, I was just going to see, are we going to put this into a motion and vote today?
No,
Or are we already, they've already agreed on it?
they've already
Okay.
agreed on it.
Okay, well, I'll wait to talk on the 29th then. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Johnson?
Yes,
Johnson,
sir.
you have the floor.
I just wanted clarity. What exactly are we going to be discussing on the 29th?
The matter on the 29th is about the revocation of the restaurant license or not, or the alcohol license or not. That's been noticed. Ms. Lane tell us exactly what has been done. And then I think for just out of clarity, and the clerk I think is correct, that we should probably just adopt a motion today that they have agreed to operate under the same hours as a bar until the 29th, just so there's no question of what was the expectation for the next 2 weeks.
What time do they close now? What time you close at,
Right
as of last
now,
week? What time did you close the other night?
Okay, so last week we closed at 2:00.
What's your normal
Saturday-
closing hour?
We usually close like 1 a.m., but that was before we start doing the after selling food after 2:30.
So you went from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m.
But ever since March, we was closing like 3:30, 3:20.
Okay.
So
4 a.m.
Sergeant,
sometime it go to 4 a.m.
Sergeant Ortiz.
He's been closing every time that I've been there after 3 in the morning. And even on the website, it says he closes at 4 a.m.
And is
So
that consistent?
Since January, he's been closing at 4 o'clock in the morning.
What, I still have the floor?
Still have the floor.
Investigator Ortiz, what other places in Richmond County close around that time? I know we had a few other instances like a year or so ago at the hour spots. Do we still have any other places that close around that time of night?
On the patio, it's off Milledgeville Road, but they usually close within half an hour. They say they're supposed to shut down at 2:30. They're an after-hour spot. They're also considered a restaurant. They close at 3.
So if I could just get additional clarity, and I'll get out of the queue. Is the concern here the safety itself of the folks who are there, the officers in downtown, correct?
Not only the safety, but the disregard to the law.
Okay, so we were able to, so I see why we need to just talk about this on the 29th. Because my question again would just be if he's already on probation and it seems as though that's being violated, then the question should be whether or not he operates as a restaurant or just close at that 2 o'clock regardless if he's operating at a restaurant or not. So I mean, I guess I just, the 29th is probably the best bet, yeah. Unless we can get down to an agreement today. I'm just trying to understand what the difference between the 29th and today would be.
Yeah, well, we offered him an agreement to not serve food, but he said that he preferred to serve food, so that moves us to the 29th.
Okay.
So this is the problem with that. We're a restaurant, not a lounge. We're not a bar. So if we don't have to serve food, we won't. But what I'm telling you is that's why I said we can still operate as a restaurant. We're not a bar. We're not a lounge. We're a restaurant. You see what I'm saying? That's why I said we are closed at the time they want us to close.
Okay.
Like anything that we can do to make the law enforcement safety and public safety better, we will do. We only started that to try to make up for the sales.
Okay. All right.
So we have no problem with closing the time they want us to close.
Yeah. All right.
Because the problem came with just those crowds being there late. They come from every club and everywhere and come there because they know it's food there. So they crowd up. It might be 200 people out the door,
right.
You know, and it's going to cause problems.
It is. Commissioner Rice?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. It seems like you got a full kitchen back there, you say?
Yes.
Department of Health, yes.
Okay, just from Attorney Plunkett mentioned that we could put this in a motion today because it seems to me like there's one, you know, I just think that what needs to happen is that the law needs to, that we have to obey the law. We can't be hurting deputies and sending them to the hospital. And it seems here between now and the 29th, that's 2 more weeks, and there's 2 more weekends to go, that we ought to maybe put this in a motion today so that it is followed.
I agree 100%.
And okay with everybody closing up and not staying past 5 minutes past 2 or 3 a.m.? That's late to begin with. I mean, nothing happens after midnight, but there again, let's see if we can put something in motion.
I think the request has been put in the form of a motion to close at 2:30 for the next two weeks until we come here on the 29th. Can somebody submit that in the form of a motion? Yes. Motion by Commissioner Johnson. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Guilfoyle. Madam Clerk, we're voting.
It's unanimous.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you all. See you on the 29th, sir.
No problem.
All right. All right, Madam Clerk, I think that takes us to number 6. Wait, wait a second. I got the Solicitor General. Madam, are you out here for a particular item? Okay. All right. You sure it's on this agenda? Okay, I got you. All right, Madam Clerk, let's go to number 6.
All right. Item number 6 is a request for concurrence with the Planning Commission to approve a petition by Selena Lofton on behalf of Christopher A. Wright requesting a special exception to establish a family personal care home with 6 clients on property located at 3622 Sternaday Drive, Zone R1C1 Family Residential.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioner from the first, I know you had some questions regarding this.
Yes, sir. Director Delaney, what are the exemptions here? And are they, is the neighborhood okay with the public, with the personal care home going into the subdivision?
Did you mean conditions or?
Yeah, the conditions.
Okay,
Conditions,
conditions,
yes.
not exemptions.
I'm sorry, the conditions.
Okay, so there are no exemptions, but the conditions that were recommended with the approval from the Planning Commission is that the home shall be limited to no more than 6 residents with full supervision, and any live-in staff will be counted towards the maximum occupancy of the home. Number 2, they must successfully complete a code enforcement inspection prior to the issuance of the new business license or any residents moving in. Number 3, they must receive an updated City of Augusta business license for the expanded number of residents and continue to maintain a license with the state of Georgia. Proof of compliance with the minimum requirements of Chapter 290 2-5-18 of OCGA must be provided, and the applicant must provide annual inspection reports. Condition number 4, the home shall be staffed and maintained in compliance with all State Department of Community Health regulations for a personal care home. And number 5, no signage is permitted on the property. No one came out to object to this particular application, and no one came to the meeting to object.
That's different. That's different. Motion to approve. Well, second.
There's a motion, there's a second. See no callers in the queue, Madam Clerk, we're voting.
It's unanimous.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's move on to number 8.
That takes us to item number 8, I believe, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Today I bring forth to you alcohol number 25-20. It's a new location, retail packaged beer and wine with Sunday sales. Mark Coburn Jr. is the applicant for Downtown Corner Store 2, located at 1018 Broad Street, District 1, Super District 9. Augusta Planning and Development and the Sheriff's Office recommends approval. Do we have any objectors?
Any objectors to this matter? I don't see my normal objectors, so we're clear.
State your name and your address.
And my name is Mark Coburn, and my address is 4468 Dogwood Way, Evans, Georgia, 30809.
Motion approved.
All right, I heard a motion to approve from Mayor Pro Tempore Guilfoyle, seconded by Commissioner Rice. Madam Clerk, we're voting.
Ms. Scott, oh, I'm sorry. It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Clerk, I see number 10 has the same address. What is that?
It's just a duplicate, okay.
It's a duplicate,
Okay.
okay. So we can delete number 10,
Yes, sir.
okay? Okay, it takes
Delete it
us-
without objection.
Any objection to delete number 10? It was a duplicate.
Okay.
He says, all right, that takes us to 16.
Number 16, motion to approve award of bid 24905, request for replacement of the automatic transfer switch at the power generator located at the Augusta Judicial Center in the amount of $25,862 by Georgia Power.
Madam Clerk, that's 17, number 16.
16?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That were you good? Good.
Okay. Item 16, motion to approve award of bid 24905, Augusta Municipal Building Leak Investigation in the amount of $85,878 plus
Contingents.
yeah, there was another number there. 560
No.
plus
The
contingency.
60,578 plus the 25,000
5,000.
contingency, which is the 85.
Okay, to be performed by Midwest Maintenance, Inc.
Thank you. Interim Director Lampkin.
Yes, this is for our municipal building leak investigation where we have the intrusion of water coming in that we're not exactly sure if which direction it's going in or where it's coming in at, where we have the missing tiles on the building and those marbles that are constantly coming loose. So we put this out for bid for somebody to come in to inspect those tiles and also tell us where this intrusion is coming in at. The contingency funds of the $25,000 will be if they were to find any more loose tiles or can correct something while they're in the process. We would then use some of those contingency funds to do that.
Thank you, sir. Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tempore Wayne Guilfoyle.
Thank you, Intern Director Lampkin. Is this a duplicate service of what we went out for bid last year?
No, this is not a duplicate service. We put it out for bid last year. I bought it before you guys last year as an emergency. We were to move forward with getting the inspection done, but we decided to put it out for bid. So it went out to bid, and now we're actually doing the work. It has not been done already.
I thought we had awarded a bid to one of the local companies here at tune of, I think it was 175, 225,000. I might have been wrong. You throw numbers out, so it kind of gets me off guard on that.
No, sir.
I believe it was Koki Construction.
Right. That was the number we had to get that done. We didn't get it done. We put it out for bid instead. That's why we ended up where we are. So we did not spend those funds. That was not approved. We put it out for bid, and now we have a contract on board to do that.
Okay, how long has that stone been off of our building?
We removed that stone, I believe it was last February, when JLA did the inspection and found that it was leaning, so we removed it to keep it from falling.
So we got a $60,578 bid and it's $25,000 contingency. So if they don't need that contingency, the original bid stays in place at the $60,000.
Right. If we don't use the $25,000, then it stays where it is.
Okay. Motion to approve.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Rice. Seeing no colleagues in the queue, Madam Clerk, we're voting.
Unanimous.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Takes us to number 20.
Item 20 is a motion to approve Housing and Community Development's request to approve the addendum engagement agreement with Chair Beckert to continue to provide grant management assistance to the Housing and Community Development Department.
All right. Interim Director Sherrera. Good day, sir.
Good afternoon. This is the request from HCD to continue the contract with Cherry Becker to allow the Cherry Becker to assist in preparation for our annual audit.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson, first, you have the floor.
Yes, sir. The motion says to provide grant assistance. You said that is for annual audit?
Yes, sir. They help prepare the financial statements and the financial information for our audit.
That's not grant management, though. Oh, well, how about I say, can you help me understand how that is grant management?
I'm not sure what Director Welcher was meant by grant management. My understanding is we've retained Cherry Becker to help get our audit information together.
Okay, can I get the interim director, please? Director Lewis, how are you doing?
How are you?
Doing well. To your knowledge, is this for grant management assistance or is this for audit purposes?
This particular item is to continue the service of our usual process with Cherry Becker providing the consultant capacity for the grants that we currently have within the department.
So is this grant tracking or is this looking at grants to be audited? Are these?
From the aspect of the continued services that we've had with Cherry Becker through the agreement where we're working through the process of providing the normal processes for not just the grants within the department for reporting to senior leadership.
Okay, so this.
As far as the audit, that is something that's not moved forward with HCD.
Okay, so let me ask this question. It says continue. Can you share what they're already providing?
I'm sorry, sir.
So can you share what Cherry Becker is already providing to HCD? It says continue to provide grant management assistance.
For what?
I'm only asking, and I'll tell you why. I'm only asking because it says it's to continue to provide grant management assistance. The finance department just said that is for audit purposes. I want to make sure that if we have to amend the language here in the motion that we can do that, which sounds like we need to amend the language.
So, to my understanding, that this is what should be happening so that there's a clear understanding across the board. The services that finance is speaking to is the aspect for the services that's needed for the grant audit aspect. And we continue to provide services through HCD's process that we're currently working with Cherry Becker.
Okay, all right. So that encompasses both of, all right, motion to approve.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Mayor Pro Tem Guilfoyle, you're in the queue, sir.
Intern director, please, and Tim Schrader. So Sherry Becker has been assisting the HCD for quite some time now, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, so they're here to provide grant management assistance. So any kind of money that comes in for grant money, they are aware of where it goes and accounted for, is that correct?
They assist in making sure that we account for the grant money correctly.
All right, and if they don't do their job, what happens? Or if we don't let them be aware on how money is spent, what happens?
We could have an audit finding. The government agencies could request the funds back, returned.
Say that again.
So if we report incorrectly, we could have an audit finding from our auditors for a financial audit.
Which is Cheryl Becker.
No, this is Malden Jenkins.
Okay.
Cherry Becker is helping prepare our information so Malden Jenkins can perform their audit.
So Sheriff Becker is the one that keeps us within our guidelines to make sure we don't get in trouble, is that correct?
Yes, that is what they're trying to do for our audits, yes.
For our expenditures of grant money?
Yes, sir. They help us classify and they help us get ready for our audit by making sure that the expenses are recorded correctly.
Thank you, Intern Tim Schrader.
All right, colleagues, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, I don't see anyone else in the queue. For clarity, Administrator Allen, can you just provide this body clarity, the reason for this?
Yes, sir. So what this is, Cherry Becker assists the HCD department to prepare for the city's overall audit, not the HCD audit. Those are two separate audits that are going to have to be done. What Chair Beckett does is go in and provide assistance to get the actual information together. They don't review the financials. They just get them prepared for the respective city audit.
So they're responsible for helping HCD provide the information for Malden Jenkins to do the overall city audit, is what you're saying?
They're responsible for, yes, sir.
Okay.
For making sure that we meet the deadline for our overall city audit by Malden Jenkins, correct?
Gotcha. All right. Commissioner from the 6th, John Lewis.
Thank you, Mayor Johnson. Mr. Schrewer, Deputy Director, it states that the original engagement letter, this will be the fourth addendum to the original engagement letter. Now, I see that we're looking to do a motion to approve this, but at what cost? I don't see any finances on this relevant to what they're doing. I understand that it will carry out until December the 25th. So at what cost? What are we paying Sherry Beckett? What's the cost? I see a whole lot of partner principal, hourly rates, senior associate managers and senior. So what's the total cost?
It'd be $70,000, sir.
Okay, now we're talking numbers now, which none of us were privy to the cost. 70,000 for the additional work, which will carry this out until the 25th of December. Will that carry this out until, or will it carry? It's because it says June. It says it has a contract ending in June. And then it says it will carry out to December 2025. So they will continue to perform this work up until June, or will they continue to perform this work to December?
The agreement expires on June 30th.
June 30th of this year. And
Yes,
it also states that this term of this agreement expire December 31, 2025 under other matters. Look under other matters. But my concern was, I just wanted to know the price. What is it costing us for them to continue to do this? And you answered that, $70,000.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you answered.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor Johnson.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Commissioner Lewis. Commissioner from the 1st, you back in the queue?
Yes, sir. Just for the record, I just wanted to share, I have some, I made the motion to approve this, but I'm hearing multiple different things here. So if I could get maybe some clarity, would it be in order to change the motion to say audit preparation assistance versus grant management assistance?
To me, that seems a little bit clearer than the current motion.
Because if
Yes,
that's
sir,
what we're
that'd be
saying, then I think that's more
Yes,
appropriate
sir.
for what we're doing versus what the agenda item is saying.
Yes, sir, that would be acceptable for us.
Madam Clerk, can you make that for the record? The Commissioner from the 1st wants to change the language to more audit preparation than grant management.
Okay, so we will request to approve addendum of the agreement to continue to provide audit preparation assistant management for the Housing and Community Development
Yes, ma'am.
Department in the
Yeah.
amount of $70,000.
Sounds good to me, Commissioner Johnson.
I'm fine with it.
All right.
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed
Not to exceed $70,000.
$1,000, not to exceed, okay.
Commissioner?
The letter, Mr. Mayor, I think in the letter it states not to exceed 75,000.
Okay, but you're saying not to exceed 70?
Yeah, but I said in the letter it says
Okay.
75.
Okay.
The original letter.
I'll have the backup.
70,000.
We're doing 70? Okay,
70,000.
okay.
Commissioner Rice, you seconded that. Are you good? Okay, all right. Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second. We're ready to vote.
Okay. That motion carries 6-1 with Mr. Guilfoyle voting no.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, 27.
I beg your pardon, sir?
Let's move on to number 27.
Number 27, okay. Item 27 is a motion to approve allocating $250,000 from the general fund contingency and $100,000 from the, is that a me? From the urban service fund for continuance of mowing service in highly visible medians.
All right, Dr. Malik, I think this is you, sir. You know it's going to be a heap of questions about this. I'm going to yield. All right, first, can you just for clarity clarify where this mowing is going to occur and what's the purpose of these funds that you're requesting?
Yes, sir. So there is a attachment to agenda item to that. So back in 2023, this body and the administrator at the time, there's around 50 locations that were previously maintained by the Park and Rec Department. Those are landscaped area throughout the city. So to attempt to one department to provide the services that were transferred to the engineering, and one of in the transfer it was agreed upon that it will be contract services because engineering does not have in-house resources to provide the services. So it was bidded out, and the contractor selected the ponds of Augusta. And I came back to this body actually in February of last year for the same reason, to add to the fund. There was not enough funds allocated in 2025 budget. We have some carryover, which the department was carry over till this month. So really there's no additional fund, remaining funds in the contract. So this will provide us to carry those services.
What's the term? Is this just a 1 year carryover?
So it's year to year. So
It's year to year.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll get us through this year.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Chair yields to Mayor Pro Tem Guilfoyle.
Director Malik, as far as allocating $250,000 from the general fund contingency and $100,000 from the urban service fund for continuous mowing service, why are we not using the stormwater fees?
So stormwater cannot support this additional resource need at this point.
Where's simple question, where's all the stormwater fee going? We bring in on the average of $14-15 million, is that correct?
It's around 13.5 or 6.
Okay, 13.5.
Yes, sir. I can provide all the itemized detail again. I provided this body in the past, so it's going to the maintenance, primarily to the contract services on to the salary, and then some engineering work like we're doing in the National Air Forest area to address the chronic drainage issues.
Okay, and the administrator approves this? She's aware of it, approves it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, motion to approve.
All right, there's a motion and a second. My question is, before we vote, you mentioned that you inherited this from Parks and Rec. How was Parks and Rec paying for this prior to you inheriting this additional responsibility? Did the money not transfer from their budget to your budget?
So, really, I don't have all the details of how they were doing it. Probably they were, and that may be one of the reasons the transfer to engineering to it was not fully probably maintained. Yeah.
Do you know? No one knows. So they just gave you additional responsibilities and no funding to do it?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
No funding from that department.
Okay. All right. Well, there's a motion and there's a second. Let's vote.
It's unanimous.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. 31.
31, motion to approve converting 5 vacant assistant public defender positions from state employees to Augusta employees and transfer of the associated funds from the public defender's office operating budget to personnel.
think is the public defender here, or is somebody on this governing body going to address this?
Mr. Mayor, I can address it, but
Okay.
Mr. Bowick is here as well for any additional comments.
All right.
The approval of this item will allow additional funding to be utilized for the salaries that are needed in the Public Defender's Office. The cost of personnel to include benefits is higher on the state side than the city side, and we, as a city, we pay the state anyway, reimburse them for these costs, so it's best to bring them in under the city's umbrella to save those funds.
All right. Any? Motion to approve. All right, there's a motion to approve by Commissioner Lewis, seconded by Commissioner Scott. We're voting.
It's unanimous.
All right, let's do number 33, and we'll come back to 32, Madam Clerk. We'll do 32 last. Number 33.
33 is to receive as information an update on the implementation of salary changes for the Richmond County Sheriff's Office, District Attorney's Office, and the Public Defender's Office.
Madam Administrator?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor and members of the governing body. I have a great update as it relates to our public safety and the identified criminal justice team that you authorized us to work with in regards to getting them their respective salaries and help in their ability to recruit. Mr. Bowick, again, is here from the Public Defender's Office. There are representatives from the Sheriff's Office as well as the District Attorney's Office to comment or give any updates as they feel necessary. The Sheriff's Office has recruited, as you all know, over 100 employees and continues to keep us posted on their respective costs. So they are continuously working with us, and we appreciate that to make sure that we do not go over our respective amount. The District Attorney's Office implemented their salary changes as requested in February and expect to be fully staffed in August after their new attorneys complete their bar exams. So that helped them in their recruitment process as they requested. The Public Defender's Office has finalized their plans, especially with the addition of you approving what you just approved for them previously. Finalized their plans, and we are currently implementing it with the expectations of completing it in the next 2 weeks, which will again assist him in recruiting additional staff because he has about, 12? Yep, positions available. So this raises those salaries and makes him more competitive in getting those positions filled. And then the Marshal's Office, I know that was not part of the original, but they have submitted their request for personnel action, and they are being processed at this time. So I would like to say that all of the requests that were requested have been completed, and everybody's being able to actually recruit and maintain their respective staff. And again, the representatives are here for any questions.
Well, we're receiving this as information.
Yes.
In that we don't have a quorum right now. Here she is. All right, there we go. All right, madam, floor is yours.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sharice Davis. I am the Director of Community Engagement for the District Attorney's Office, and I am here to share words on behalf of DA Williams. To the Commission, the Administrator, and Mayor Johnson, on behalf of the District Attorney's Office and the community we represent, we would like to express our deepest gratitude for your leadership, your vision, and your dedication to making Augusta a safer place. Your investment in the District Attorney's Office has not only changed lives, but it has also saved lives. For the little girl who wants to sleep safely in her bed tonight, you have ensured that the major crimes divisions can keep the monsters out of her room. For the teen who's starting to go the wrong way, you have provided a team of professionals to help him back on track. For the mother who grieves the loss of a son cut down by gun violence, you made sure she gets the best lawyer, the courtroom, and the victim's advocates to help her get through. Our office now serves more victims, resolves more cases, and gets better outcomes for the community. We are proud to announce that by summer's end, we will be able to fill every attorney position in our office. And we are one position away from completely filling all of our support staff roles. While challenges still remain, we are so much closer to the standard of justice this community deserves. None of this would be possible without your willingness to hear our concerns and act swiftly and rightly to address them. So thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your service and continued support of law enforcement and criminal justice. And most of all, thank you for making our city a safer place.
Yes, ma'am. Well said. Chair recognizes Commissioner Francine Scott from the ninth.
Thank you, Mayor Johnson. And I'll also like to say thank you to our administrator for working so hard. I know when I asked her to fund criminal justice and law enforcement, I know it was a great task, but I just want to say thank you to you and your staff for a job well done.
You're so welcome. And I would like to, if I could, Mr. Mayor, say that it's been great working with those respective agencies. They helped us tremendously in getting all this taken care of. I appreciate their patience. I also want to recognize Maddie Sue Stevens, as well as our loaner HR analyst who has been working with us tremendously, is Ms. Teresa Davis from the engineering department. So they have been putting a lot of time into getting this done. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate the patience of those respective agencies.
Thank you. I see Maddie Sue back there. Is Ms. Teresa Davis in the chambers? She's not. She's not. Thank you, Ms. Davis. All right, Madam Clerk, I think that takes us to number 32.
Item 32 is to receive as information and update on matters concerning 911.
All right.
Yes, sir. A meeting, I just want to give you an update on where we are as it relates to 911. There was a meeting held on March 27th with representation from the Sheriff's Office, the Marshal's Office, Central EMS, Fire Department, Information Technology, and of course 911. There were several items that were discussed, mainly regarding the Sheriff's Office, and the determined path was to include making sure that we have an additional radio channel, proximity dispatching, beats to be established, and a few other items that were actually discussed during that meeting. We are scheduled to come back in 60 days to review the status and to see how we actually stand with everything. Of course, the sheriff was in total agreement with that. The Sheriff's Office and 911 have started having direct meetings with one another, and they will continue to have these meetings during this 60-day period.
All right, are there any questions from this body? Seeing or hearing none? Before I adjourn, Attorney Plunkett.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. I had a question on 32.
All right.
Yes, sir. Does this satisfy some of the concerns that the Sheriff's Office and that was before us a few weeks ago?
Yes,
so does this put us on the right track to?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
As long as the good communication and results are being demonstrated, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Attorney Plunkett.
Mr. Mayor, we would ask for a motion to go into a brief executive session, discuss pending and potential litigation, real estate, and personnel matters.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Second. I heard Commissioner Slendak first. All right, Madam Clerk, we're voting.
It's unanimous.
All right, we're going to suspend for a brief legal session. Hopefully we'll be back shortly. Thank you. All right. Madam Clerk, I call the session back to order. Attorney Plunkett.
Mr. Mayor, we would request a motion to have the mayor execute the closed meeting affidavit.
There's a motion, there's a second. Commissioner Guilfoyle, Commissioner Rice, Madam Clerk, are voting.
It's unanimous.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Attorney Plunkett, are there any motions as a result of our executive session?
No, sir.
All right, there are no motions. Madam Clerk, this session is hereby adjourned.
All right.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.